time on our way to get a lawnmower. A Gravely zero turn. I don't know these things, but I'm just along for the ride, and there are no children in the back, so it doubles as a date. Maybe he'll buy me a steak, an ice cream. I did get a coffee, so that's good. So
an hour left to go to pick it up, and then we are going to try and make a run, mow the yard with it, and then maybe resell it for a profit or keep it. We don't know. It may not even run. Bye. Well, here's the mower. It's the next day. We got back home after dark. But it's a Gravely ZT 2660 HD. So essentially, it's a low-end commercial or a high-end residential, however you want to look at it. It got a 60-inch cut, 26-inch horsepower Briggs. Guy I got it from said that he was having carburetor issues, couldn't get the carburetor to work. That's why it's took apart. We've got the parts in the back of the Suburban, and it has an oil leak that we're gonna have to find and fix. Parking brake is set, so see what happens. I'm going to sit here and let the battery charge, but it's backfiring, so I'm going to say the valves are out of adjustment. We'll pull the valve covers off, check them real quick, and then we'll try it again and go from there. These valves, they will sit, well, my feeler gauges can't hardly read them anymore. Looks like they got wet. Anyway, the intake sets at 4 to 6 thousandths, and the exhaust sets at 6 to 8. So we'll just we'll set them at 6 and 6 and see where we can go from there. See if it likes that. If it doesn't, then we'll adjust it a little more. You're gonna turn this over to top dead center on compression. Your two valves will both be at full extension, and then you'll turn it a little bit. It'll have a decompression mode, or it's supposed to. There we go, right there. You go top dead center and then about a quarter turn. That's down, so this one would be all the way up. That's very loose. And that one compressed. This one should be up. We're going to reset those. I have to get that 13 out. intake. Set it, you want just a little bit of drag. A little slightly tight on this one because 6 thousandths is the maximum. I probably should really set it at 5 and 7, but I've had pretty good luck just running 6 and 6. I'm pretty happy with it right there, so put it in and then just snug this down. And we'll recheck it after I snug that up. That's good. We'll move you over to the other side. I don't know if I have another push rod sitting around. Look at that. I will have to go through my stack of parts engines. This is why you need to adjust your valves. Nobody ever does. They'll show up at the shop and want to know why their mower won't start. And get in there and your valves are usually out of adjustment. And sometimes they got so loose that this happens. Anyway, we'll that one's so loose it's about to fall out too. Anyway, I will have to go raid the parts pile and see if I have, I don't know, I don't think I have another Briggs V-twin sitting over there for parts right now. I will have to go and see. We'll be back in just a minute. Alright, I am back. I did not have another push rod. I went through my stock, didn't have one. I did not have a, the only Briggs V-twin I have in stock over there is a Vanguard series. It's a commercial series and it has a different push rod in those. So anyway, I'll have to turn an order in for one. But in the meantime, I went ahead and I straightened this one to a degree. It's not perfectly straight and I do not recommend doing this, but for testing purposes, we are going to go ahead and put it in and see what this motor sounds like. It'll give me an idea if we need to do more to the motor, or if this fix this and the oil leak and it'll be good, or if we do need to go ahead and do a complete rebuild on it. So I'll get you set up where you can see, and we'll put this in, set the valves on this side, and we will go from there. All right, we got to depart, reset the valve seat. I am going to put this back together and see if it'll run, but I've got a feeling we will be pulling the head off of this and probably redoing the valves and new head gasket and everything. I think the engine is hurt just a little bit, but we're going to reassemble it, and like I said, and just see what exactly is going on here with it. But I'd like to find out before I go and order the head and everything. There's where I want that one set. We'll just hold the center and keep it from turning, and we will tighten down the lock nut. Sitting pretty good. Our final torque. I fully expect this engine not to, it'll fire up and run, and we'll probably run it a little bit and then get some heat, run through it, cool it down, come back and check the valves. But I will be tearing this thing apart and pulling that head off and seeing what kind of damage there is, if it does fire up and run at all. I straighten this aluminum rod here out. That's not really the way to do it, but I do not have these in stock, so it will probably run just a little bit. There's a cup down in there that you set it in that runs on your camshaft. And your rocker up here. At the hand, set in its seat. We'll run this down just a little bit. I really think this damage probably came, I think the valves were out of adjustment. And I know he said he tried to start it on starting fluid and it caused a big pop. I think that's probably when it bent these valves. But I don't know, can't prove it. Said I will order some new push rods valve cover gasket and a head gasket. When it gets here, I will go ahead and tear this head off of it. Check the head, check the valves, make sure they're all straight and true and in good shape, and then reassemble it if the motor sounds good. Otherwise, we may have to order a rebuild kit. I've got that sitting about where I want it. So we're going to put a little back pressure on it and then just snug that down. It's right there. It's a hair tight, but this is also the maximum setting. Said this is 6 thousandths. The intake sets from 4 thousandths to 6 thousandths, and then the exhaust sets from 6 to 8. I'll just set them both. That one's just a hair loose. It's probably about 7 thousandths. So it's right on. That one's pretty good. The hair tied on 6, but it's well within spec. So we'll go ahead, tighten this down, and put this valve cover gasket back on it, and see if this motor will start. All right, we took it apart, cleaned the magnet on the flywheel, cleaned the coils, cleaned the spark plug out, and freed the linkage here. The choke linkage was stuck. Got it freed up a little bit, and we're going to see if it'll run now. Sounds like we got a little bit of tweaking to do to the carburetor yet. I'm gonna have to adjust the parking brake on it. It's kind of sticking and hanging on the hydro, but I'm gonna put a little bit of oil in it, and then we'll take it out here and see if the deck works and figure out the settings and everything, just see how it goes.